All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? My hair's kind of messy today. It's okay. So I'll say hello. Welcome to this live. And I'll say in the chat, please say hello. You know, you're watching from. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I'll put these in too. Let's see. These are going to work better. Sweet. I'll put these headphones in. Give me a little bit more. There we go. How's that? Hear me okay? Let's see. And I will also add in the chat. Give me a question. I'm talking a little bit about some of the things I know a little bit about, which include brand marketing, brand strategy, advertising, content creation, YouTube channel management, audience growth. What do you want to know? I'm here for a little bit. Just thought I'd pop in, say hello. How's everyone doing today? Check to see what this looks like on my side.
Casey Neistat is one of the greatest bloggers.
Checking up on my channel. See if anyone else is joining. Here we go. Cool. If you have a chance while you're here to hit the like button, do that, and then that'll help kind of trigger the algorithm to get it out more people so we can have a cool discussion, get lots of good questions. Let me know what you want to know. I think slowly but surely this is getting out to more people. It's always kind of a slow roll here. If you're just joining this live, welcome. Doing a little creator Q&A here. Ask me anything. And don't forget to hit the like button because then that'll help let YouTube know to send this out to more people so we can get a few more eyeballs on here. Cool. All right, guys, as we're just ramping up, leave me a question. Love to see what's on your mind. First question right out of the gate about ChatGPT. Love it. Will things change related to brand marketing? How can we use it to our advantage? I mean, everyone is weighing in on this right now. this may not be a new hot take, but basically, I just think that ChatGTP is going to augment or like help support what I'm already doing, for example, in brand marketing. So if it's like maybe if I have writer's block, or if I'm stumped, or if I want to do just like some R&D, or if I want to just kind of sample what the AI would come up with compared to what I'm doing, there's lots of great ways to use ChatGPT, I think. And it doesn't replace the human brain or our experience, but I think it's going to help make us be better marketers, be more efficient, write better. I never want a computer to take the place of my brain or my voice, but man, some of these tasks, like what are the top trending ideas in 2023, or there's probably a better prompt than that, but like instead of having to scour the internet or Google and then sift through a bazillion results, it would be great to use AI to figure out, or at least, start to narrow it down so that once the computer has scoured the internet for me, then I can take it and look at the results and then make my own human evaluation. It kind of reminds me of this AI reminds me of that Office episode. Do you remember when it's Dwight versus the computer, or it's Dwight versus Jim, and Jim is like acting as the computer, and it's that episode where Dunder Mifflin has got the new web system that Ryan designed. So you input your orders, and then Dwight was like, "I'm better than any dumb website or computer," and Jim said, "No, you'll never beat it." And so he's competing for sales. And then there's this line in there that says something like, after Dwight made like the sale, the computer or Jim says, like, "Okay, I've just memorized every single language on the earth and learned how to play violin and made a new sale." And so it's like at that moment that Dwight feels extremely defeated. I just think, if we send AI out to scour the internet for everything great that's out there and have it bring it back, fetch it, and bring it back, and then we can evaluate it as humans, it's going to save us a ton of time. So I'm psyched about it, and if there's a pro version, I'd be all in for that too. If it is learning, like as they say it is, I'm excited about that as well, because I just think that's only going to make all of our jobs better across the board, save a lot of time, save a lot of effort, make it more efficient. Good question. I like it. If you're just joining this live, I'm Brian Elliott. This is my channel. So I am the guy behind the brand. Hopefully I'm your eyes and your ears. I'm in the trenches with you. I run a small business. I run my production company where we're producing podcasts and producing original content for clients and making commercials and other kinds of brand entertainment series. And of course, all the stuff that I do here, and trying to bring you some of the smartest people on the planet so that you can learn and we can all learn from them so you can grow your brand and your business. I've done over 500 interviews to date with some pretty amazing people. And I feel like we're just kind of getting started. I'm more than a decade in on this channel. And yet, there's so much more ground to cover and so many people doing cool things. I'm just excited about this new year. Leave me a comment. If you haven't hit the like button, like it so that YouTube knows to send this out to more people who might want to join us. And then also weigh in the comments. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know if you have a question. I'm here for a little bit while longer. It's about 5 p.m. here, 5:11 p.m. Los Angeles time. I'm in Southern California. It's kind of a rainy day today, so I've been just in my little home office. Hope all you guys are doing well. Have a happy new year. What do you want to know? How's this camera look, by the way? I am using, maybe I shouldn't get so close, but I'm using my iPhone as a webcam. It seems pretty good. Pretty legit. No questions? I'm here for a little bit. After this, I think I'm going to bounce over to TikTok, maybe do Instagram at the same time. But I want to take care of my YouTube friends first because this is where I hang out most of the time. So let's see here in the comments again. I'm watching. What's up, man? Thanks for coming. So, first time watching my live or first time seeing my channel? And if you have a chance, kind of peruse my channel and see, I guess you can filter or sift by like most viewed or newest or oldest. Let me know what is one of your favorite videos. Also, if you didn't know, I have a podcast as well. So if you are more interested in the audio version, I've got that. It's by the same name behind the brand, and you can find that on wherever you listen to podcasts. So it's iTunes or Spotify, Google Play, all those. Happy to answer your questions and talk about some of the things I know a little bit about: brand marketing, advertising, strategy, content creation, video production, podcast production, community management, social media. Let me know. Cool. Appreciate that. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Which video did you watch and what did you like about it? I'm always curious, or what's maybe something that you want to see from the channel. Maybe there's something back in the archives, like 500 episodes buried, or and I can point you to that, or maybe something I haven't done yet that you have a special request. Who would you like to see on the channel? I have a list of people who are up and coming, but that's sort of top secret. I can tease that, but I can't talk about it because it's a secret. I'm excited about it, though. Good things are happening. Okay. So maybe you guys are a little tired from the weekend. That's cool. Okay, starting a personal branding agency. I'm wondering what's the best strategy to launch on Instagram or other social networks. Well, there's a lot here. Personal branding agency. Okay, so you want to help other people grow their personal brands. That's cool. So it sounds like you want to use Instagram to launch your business. That's cool. Have you decided who your target is? Do you know who you're going after? Do you have a long list of people? Is it a short list? Because that sort of matters, right? Like if you're going to start a business, one of the first things you want to ask yourself is, who's it for? The other question is, what's it for? But like the who's it for question is talking about your audience. Now, you could have different buckets of people. You could have, for example, people who are trying to build their brand in the category of sports, right? You go after athletes. And then there's like a subsection or subcategory of that. Could be college athletes, professional athletes, amateur athletes, could be categorized by sports, CrossFit athletes, track and field runners, football players, soccer players, basketball players, etc. So you can see how intricate, detailed, and strategic, if you want to use that word, you can get for figuring out who it's for. And then you want to sort of match that up against your interests, experience, and expertise. So if you decide, like me, if I was like, hey, I want to start going after NBA players, I'd have to ask myself first, am I qualified to do that? Like, and then what qualifies me? So sometimes it could just be, I don't know, as simple as I love basketball. I watch it religiously, for example, or I have season tickets, or I try to catch every game I can. Or it could be like, hey, I played basketball in high school or college. I'm, an avid fan and active player, so I know everything about the sport inside and out. Or maybe you know someone on the inside, or anyway. So figure out why you picked that and see if you're qualified to do it, and then that'll also kind of give you an indication of whether or not this idea can scale. Because if you pick something that maybe is just popular and you're not that interested in, it's not going to scale. Like, you're going to get sick and tired of it, and then you're going to quit. And you want to do that. You want to do something that's going to, go the distance. So that's what I would do first, is really focus before you start this agency or launch it. Decide who it's for. And Instagram probably is a good place to start, because most of the world's on Instagram. Probably the other part of the world's on YouTube or on TikTok these days. And those are the three platforms that I think are probably the most viable to start. But maybe there are even ways to segment that per platform. So, like, I think there's some people who just want to grow on Instagram because that makes sense for them and their brand, or on YouTube or TikTok, etc. Very few people, I think, with the exception of like Mr. Beast and some of these other bigger influencers, can be completely agnostic about what platform they choose. They can basically go viral on any platform because they are who they are, but not all of us have that luxury. So I would also consider segmenting and seeing if it makes sense to get or niche down per platform, if that makes sense. Hope that helps. All right, if you're just tuning into this live, make sure you hit the like button, because that's going to tell YouTube to send this out further and wider than it is. And if you want to ask me a question, oh, you're welcome. Leave me a question in the comments so that I know that you're interested and engaged. If you are not into it, then no worries. I will bounce, and I'll catch you next time. But I'm just here. I love it, interacting with you guys. This is like, as good as it gets for me. I'm usually just on the upload side hitting publish. I don't get to interact with the community. So this is like super fun for me. Yeah. And if it's helpful, I'm happy. It's all good. All right. Well, what's up, Sam? I'll give you guys another minute or two to see if you have a question for me. Other than that, here's another question. Okay, what do you think about YouTube lives these days? It's tough. As you can see, there are not many people joining this live. So what that tells me is that YouTube, or at least the algorithm, is prioritizing. And if you're a smaller creator, I mean, I have 330,000 subscribers, people who have, opted in, raised their hand and said, I want to be part of this. And yet, by contrast, how far and wide does YouTube send this out when I announce that I'm doing a live? Not very far, let's face it, right? Like, there's just a handful of people on this live right now, and that kind of sucks. So I think the message here is that you can't really rely on one platform or like someone else's platform to do you're evangelizing or to get the word out, you need to have multiple streams or multiple sources. So for example, what I've been doing is doing like the hard work on building an email list so I can hit, push publish and say, hey, an email goes out to my subscriber list or my opt-in list and let them know there's a new video or that I'm doing something cool. I can also use the other social platforms to announce that I'm doing a live here and try and drive. So YouTube is one of my favorite platforms, but it's also kind of difficult because they don't always help the smaller creator. They're really trying to, I think, give preferential treatment to the people with 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million subs. That's just the truth. Okay, so recent subscriber from London, thank you, welcome. You don't have a marketing background, but you have a fintech background and you're looking to launch an MVP product. Cool. Sounds good. What's the best strategy to get interest from early investors? It's a good question. So I guess to answer the question of the question, I would say, what makes you think that a fintech product, and MVP stands for minimum viable product. In other words, what's the minimum amount of people that want your product to still make it worth doing? So what makes you think that fintech product is in demand? Like, how did you find that out? Do you have research? Is this just a gut instinct? Were there other signals or indicators? I like to start there because I see a lot of my clients making a similar mistake. They'll have this great idea like, hey, I want to launch a clothing company, not a fintech, but let's say it's something else. And, in theory, it's like, we're going to be better than the other clothing brands out there. We're going to do it faster, stronger. We're going to be more unique, better design. But it's like, okay, but how do you know? Like, did you identify an audience that already told you that they want that first? If that's the case and you have evidence of that, then that's really cool. But if you don't, I feel like that's sort of out of the order of operations. And so I would recommend, if you haven't done this exercise, is really trying to decide and determine whether or not this idea is already in demand. If you find this problem that needs to be solved, or this audience is clamoring for this fintech product that you're talking about, identify who they are. So, okay, so trying to answer part 2 of your question, which is, what's the best strategy to use to get interest from early investors? In my experience, investors are very picky. And if we are indeed heading into a recession, it's going to become more and more difficult to convince people to let go of the purse strings, right? So you're up against another challenge, which is you have no sales to show. You have no evidence, possibly, that this is a great idea. And then you want to go talk to investors and try to convince them that your great idea is going to work. So you sort of already, like 2-3 layers underground first, even to get to ground zero. So the first thing that I would do is really, if you can, and in the spirit of MVP, once you decide that there is indeed a need for this and demand for it, figure out what the size of that demand looks like. Do all your MVP calculations, and then maybe you can do a prototype, or maybe there's a way to do a pilot program that's not permanent. So like the comparable example might be, what if you did kind of like the pop-up kitchen style version of your fintech company? Is there a way to do that, right? Like, so the pop-up kitchen template is, instead of spending all this capital on building out a restaurant and hiring all the staff, you basically go into a company that already has infrastructure, or a restaurant that already has infrastructure. You basically rent their stove and maybe even their staff, certainly their restaurant and their patrons, right? So people are already coming in. Is there a way in your fintech space to find a pop-up kitchen opportunity so that you can at least test the model? And so I don't know if that's even possible or if that exists, but if you can, seems like that would be a way to mitigate risk. And then it would also give you evidence and something to take to potential investors to say, look, I've done this pop-up fintech idea with this partner, you know, twice, 6 times, a dozen times. Here's the result. And here's the money I'm looking for. Here's the minimum viable audience, the minimum viable product. Here's the cost. At least you have something to take them and show them, A, that there's demand, B, that you have evidence, to prove the model. That's kind of what I would do. I don't know if it's possible, but it's just the idea I came up with off the top of my head. Hope that helps. Mitch wants to know, okay, let's see. Oh, so Mitch is actually offering suggestions here. This is good. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah. Yep. Okay, yeah. I mean, yes, you could look for local grants as well. Yes, that's not bad advice. I don't know. For whatever reason, I think just because I have not had the greatest success, like with governments or banks loaning me money, especially because I started my production company in 2008. The Great Recession, all the money dried up. Even though I had good credit, the banks said no. The bars were set higher. They moved the bar several times. I just became very fed up with, the system. And so I, as a result, have become very creative, like this pop-up kitchen idea, trying to see how can I do it myself, mitigate risk, but also, try things that may not work or that are experimental, but that I have a lot more control over. And that's just where I lean because of my life experience. Cool. If you're just joining us, don't forget to hit the like button. That tells YouTube that a few of you are interested in at least having this live Q&A, Ask Me Anything. I am Brian Elliott. This is my channel. I don't always come here on lives, but it's super fun to hang out with you guys, answer questions, talk a little bit about some of the things I know a little bit about. I am here in my home office from LA. It's about 5:30 Pacific time. Would love to know where you guys are watching from. And if you guys have questions you want to ask me before I bounce, let me know. Great. Thinking along the lines of a pilot program too. Very good. Yeah. Look for collaborators. Look for people who may not be competitors, but also complementary businesses. In other words, like the complementary colors, that color wheel. So like that green apple, the complementary color of green is purple. So the exact opposite side of the spectrum, right? Who is on the opposite side of that spectrum who could still benefit from doing that pilot program or pop-up idea that needs you but is not in direct competition with you? That's another kind of fun way to think about collaborations. A few more questions here before I head out. Let me know. I'm just looking at the chat here. If it's quiet, then that's my signal to wrap things up. If there's more questions, I'll stick around. But you've got to let me know. Okay. Well, that looks like it maybe for tonight. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for everyone who subscribed. You can leave me more comments after this is done. I'll check them. And a couple more questions coming in. How do you pitch a product people don't understand until they use it? But they won't use it till they understand. Okay, yeah, it's that old possible Henry Ford kind of chicken and the egg thing, right? Like Henry Ford gets credited with saying, if I asked the people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Instead, he streamlines the whole automobile production process, starts churning out Ford automobiles for the everyday person, making them cheap or at least affordable. Yeah, how do you do that? I mean, the iPhone's another good example, right? So, I think there's ways to test your theory, but it depends on how ambitious your endeavor is. If there's like, if it's going to cost you 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 10 figures to get your great idea off the ground, that's really, 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 really ambitious. And so, yeah, without, high risk usually yields high reward, but it's also high risk for a reason. Is there a way to do a prototype? Again, is there a way to do market research or focus groups, or, no, I'm not just talking old fashioned focus groups, but maybe you do it digitally. Like if you told 10 friends, you sent it to them online, or you told them about this idea, is it an idea that they'd want to share with 10 of their friends, right? Like, so you tell 10 people, then those 10 people tell 10 of their friends, and that sort of has an exponential growth. Would it create a groundswell? Maybe it's worth testing, like to share your idea and saying to this small group, would you share it? How shareable is it? And then you could sort of extrapolate the numbers, even if it only went to a few hundred or a few thousand people, and see if those people would wait in line. The other thing is, I've seen plenty of services put up a website with just a coming soon. I think what's that shoe company out of San Francisco, like Allbirds or something. Like for a while, you couldn't buy anything. The product wasn't ready, but they said, "Hey, we're making this thing for you if you want it." And so, give us your email address and we'll let you know when we make it. Same kind of thing happens with crowdfunding, right? It's just there's more of a time limit and then perks attached to it. I think almost 100% of these crowdfunding, whether it's like Indiegogo or what's the other one? Now slips my mind. The product is not made. It's made only if the audience, wants it and puts their money up for it, right? Like, so if they invest in it, that's another possible way to do it. I would say if you are afraid that it's too top secret or it's an idea that someone's going to steal, then it's probably not a great idea, to be honest, unless you're dealing with, like something you're making that's like going to change the world. And but I doubt that your idea, no offense, but like, let's face it, those ideas are like very, 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 very special. And everything else is probably, worth exploring and probably not as precious as, zero gravity or something like to that magnitude, or, something like that. But anyway, don't worry about your idea being stolen or sharing with people. That's, I think, a great litmus test for whether or not it's got legs, or if you need to refine the idea, or sometimes even just asking, polling those people like I just mentioned is a way to get more feedback, to maybe slightly pivot the idea 15 degrees here or 45 degrees there. Look at Instagram, for example, as a platform. It didn't start as the photo and video app that it is now. I mean, it started as something completely different. In fact, a lot of services have started like that. So hope that helps. All right. Well, again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate your love and support. Continue to leave me comments here. I'll check them after the live is over. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much.